The strip clubs that men go to, beware. The strip clubs that men go to, beware, part 3. What's up, everybody? My name is Kier, and you are watching The Important Things That Really Matter. Today, we're talking about the strip clubs that men go to, beware, part 3. What's important about this? Well, before I get into it, let me tell you this. If you subscribe, I'm trying to get this channel to grow, So would you please subscribe? If you subscribe, I promise you that you will have access to information on my channel that will help you to save thousands upon thousands of dollars and or help you to save you a whole lot of pain and suffering, okay? So please subscribe, please like, please share, please subscribe. Also too, one thing that's extremely important, make sure you share this with as many men as possible. Make sure you share this with as many men as possible, because this is one of those videos that will save you a whole lot of pain and suffering. So you want to share this with as many men as possible. You want to go back to my part 1 video and my part 2 video. And in part 1, the part 1 video that I talked about, just to give you a little bit about it, but you still need to go back and look at that video. I was talking about how the health department went into one of these strip clubs and tested all the women. This had to have been at least about 15 years ago. All of them, 100% of the women had HIV. And this was about 15 years ago. So what is the point that I'm making that I'm about to get into right now? The point that I'm making is that if you have one strip club that has 100% of the women that have HIV, that lets you know if you're dealing with numbers, you're dealing with statistical numbers, you're dealing with mathematics, that lets you know that all the other strip clubs, or many of the other strip clubs, could have a certain number of the female strippers that may have HIV. I'm not saying all. Let me say it again. I'm not saying all of the women at all of the strip clubs. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, if you have one place and all 100% all the women in that particular strip club has HIV, that also gives you an indication. If you know anything about numbers, if you know anything about statistics and things along those particular lines, that'll let you know that there's other strip clubs that may have a number of women that may have HIV, okay? So what is the point of me saying this? The point of me saying this, and so once again, let me say fair use, and this is for educational purposes. What is the point that I'm making in telling you all this? The point that I'm making in telling you all this is that you may be going to a strip club that may have women that may have HIV. Now, do you know that some of these women will look like there's absolutely nothing wrong with them? Some of these women will look like there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. And when I first heard about this story that this woman was telling me about, the story was so bad that it made the television news, okay? When I first heard the story, I started thinking about this stuff later on, and I was like, man, how many men that probably slept with those women that were in that strip club and probably got HIV from these people and didn't even know that they were getting HIV from these people at the strip club. Now, you couldn't help but think about that, because I'm like, okay, some of those women, or many of those women, a significant portion of those women are screwing around with the customers, and some of those women are screwing around with each other. So that's how it's passed from one woman to one woman to one woman all the way through the strip club. I had to be thinking about all the men that may have been given HIV, and the women knew that they had HIV, knew it, and gave it to the men anyway. Would not tell them that they had it. And I started thinking about all the men that may have went home to their wife or their girlfriend from being at the strip club, that screwed around with some of the strippers, and man brought back HIV to their girlfriend. Or since you have women who are now going to strip clubs, especially a lot of women in Atlanta, a lot of women in Detroit, all the major cities, you got a lot of women that are going to strip clubs now. And some of those women are screwing around with some of the strippers too. So, and a lot of these people look like there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. Do you hear what I'm saying? So there are people, there have been too many reports of women and some men too, who know that they have HIV, but will sleep with the men and sleep with women anyway, and gonna give it to them anyway. And they know that they have HIV. They know that they have full-blown AIDS, and the people look like there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. There was a particular woman who did not know that she even had HIV, went to the doctor because she started having too many symptoms. And it was the doctor that sat up here and told the woman, after numerous tests that were ran on her, the doctor came in and told this one particular woman, did you know that you have HIV? The woman was like, no, she didn't know she had HIV. And so basically, in a nutshell, not only did not know that she had HIV, the doctor had told the woman that according to the tests that came back from the lab, this woman had HIV for at least 8 to 10 years. Did you hear what I said? This woman had HIV for at least 8 to 10 years. So you know what's going to happen. The health department is going to come back to her and tell her, call every person that you screwed around with within the last 8 to 10 years. So now this woman has got to take her cell phone, go get all previous cell phones she's got with all the numbers in the cell phone that she has, and call every one of those men and or women that she screwed around with and let them know that they may have HIV. All right, did you hear what I'm saying? And so if men, you have to be extremely careful, because there are people that look like they're completely healthy and they may have HIV or full-blown AIDS, okay? This woman, she didn't even know she had HIV. And the health department, told her, get in contact with every person that you slept with in the last 8 to 10 years. But what I'm also telling some of you men is this: there are some women out here that know that they have HIV or full-blown AIDS, and it looks like there's nothing wrong with them at all, and they're deliberately screwing around with numerous people, giving it to them on purpose. There was let me say this real quick, fair use. There was a woman who was a stewardess. Actually, I knew of 2 situations where 2 different women were stewardesses. One woman, she was a very, very nice looking African-American woman. She was a stewardess. She said that she stated out of her own mouth that she had got HIV from a white bisexual male pilot. One of the pilots, who was a white bisexual male, she got HIV from this guy. So my thing is like this: why would you even sleep with somebody who that you know is bisexual? Like, I don't understand it, but maybe you can make some sense out of it. I don't even understand why somebody would sleep with somebody that's bisexual, because it gives you some indication that they're very promiscuous, and they'll screw around with a man or screw around with a woman. It don't matter. Whoever's there, they'll screw around with them. Okay? So this woman knew that this guy was bisexual, and now I don't have nothing against you all that's part of the alphabet community, but if you are, you should tell people. And let them make the determination, let them make the decision on whether they still want to screw around with you or whether they want to spend time with you or not. Some people do not care. They will not tell you anyway. Some people will not tell you. But anyway, this woman screwed around with this guy who had HIV. And so she was angry and bitter about it. And so since she was angry and bitter about it, guess what she did? She decided she was going to go screw around with as many men as possible. And this particular woman has stated, once again, fair use, fair use. This is for educational purposes. This woman stated she was sleeping with at least 5 different men a week. Did you hear what I said? This woman was so attractive that there's very few men that could say no to her. She looked that good and she was that built, okay? This woman had stated that she regularly sleeps with 5 or more men a week and knows she has HIV. I had a relative of mine. So she was deliberately giving it to people on purpose. She's angry at this guy, angry that this guy gave it to her, so now she's gonna try to give it to everybody in the community. I know one of my relatives told me that he was at a party, and there was this very attractive African-American female there. So him and her was talking, so she got up and walked away from the guy and was gonna come back. So while she was gone, the woman's brother ran over and talked to the guy that was talking to his sister. The brother told the man, listen, man, I'm just trying to help you out. And so the man was like, what do you mean trying to help me out? He said, that woman, you know the woman that you were just talking to? He was like, yeah, that real nice looking woman? Like, yeah, that real nice looking woman is my sister. So he's like, it's your sister? He's like, yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something that you don't know. He's like, well, what is it that I don't know? He said, the guy told him that his sister, which was the woman he was just talking to, had HIV and or full-blown AIDS. And her attitude or her mentality was she was gonna give it to as many people as possible. And so my relative told me, I'm like, man, are you serious? He's like, yeah. He said the brother came over and told him that. He left her alone. He said, but the woman was very attractive, had full-blown HIV or full-blown AIDS, okay?